did work. All right. Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and joining me today are Darkest Light and Vector Maximus for a rather impromptu stream discussing Scandinavia's map, because we missed yesterday, as tends to happen. I'll be around for Wednesday and Friday all next week, though, so...
It wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago.
Oh, shit. The weekend
He's
has
losing
gone by
track
so
of time. How much longer until we have to put him in the unit?
But you're gonna have to replace him.
No, don't put me back in the box.
This is Joffrey V2.
You can't put me back
I
in
wasn't
the
even
box.
aware we were on V1. I thought we were still working on Alpha.
Yeah, honestly. You know, Hendrix recently went bald. He could replace him.
No! I should have pinged people for the Anvanar game.
Yo.
I think it's good. We had some
Oh, that's
interesting
true.
topics that I don't think people should have listened to.
That was pretty haggard. That is one I may as well put offline, to be honest. Watch it today before I decide to make it private. All right, but now let us get started. Yes. Welcome everyone. Today we'll talk about the Scandinavian region. Part of it was the first map that we drew for Project Caesar back in early spring 2020. Today we will look at all parts of the Scandinavian peninsula, including Denmark and the Kola Peninsula. Greenland and Iceland will be looked at in a separate map talk. No!
I know. It's sad.
No! Don't put them in with North America. I want to see it.
No, they're gonna have their own.
No, I will.
Jesus, how boring. That's going to be the most boring map diary ever.
Yeah, it would.
So
That'd be awful.
I'm just noticing this now. I know I made a thumbnail for this and everything, but instantly I'm noticing, what the hell? Why does Norway have all of this coastal land already?
It's easier to colonize a coast than it is.
Did they
Wait,
actually?
Johan was asked about this
Okay.
in the comments, I believe.
I do find this very interesting. That they've given
I want the
Sweden
backstory behind
this.
the tiny little middle-ass nowhere Swedish outpost.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably
And
just what it is.
Lapland.
It's probably just an outpost.
It's just interesting that exists. Yeah. We learned that explorers, because we learned in the last dev diary that explorers are something that everyone can use. Everyone can explore, but not everyone can explore across the sea. You need the institution for that. So I assume that might well be the same with colonization. I imagine that colonization in adjacent counties may be something that anyone can choose to do. So Sweden here, because there's no way that they would give Sweden this if it wasn't something where you can just, through gameplay, naturally over time consolidate more of this land, you know? That's my thought. Otherwise, that would be really strange looking, and you would get situations where Norway is doing exploration of the New World stuff and just colonizes all of this, like, all the time.
I'm just a little sad that the Sweden name doesn't cross over into Finland and that it's split in two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little sad.
And have to wait until you go all the way around the bay.
I mean, hopefully then that would sort out the name placement, but...
It would, because it'd be connected. Oh, they even did it on Denmark. Look at Denmark. It's a peninsula and
Denmark.
Denmark.
There's three
No,
names.
that part's the worst part because it's directly adjacent, and the name is still split. The names don't go over straight.
I hope there's... I remember, yeah, there was someone who was asking about it. I do hope that they have a setting that lets you make your name... Like, make overlords' names go over top of subjects. I remember that was something that was questioned about earlier, and I do. Um, for the sake of name placements, I like the idea. Otherwise, I don't mind because yeah, but it would be neat. I just feel that I don't know why they're only doing Scandinavia right now. Is the thing. I guess maybe they just haven't finished doing uh, Iceland and Greenland yet. Maybe they haven't finalized those pops yet. But this is such a small area, all things considered. Like it's large, but there is nothing happening here. That's why I'm just a little surprised. Like, oh, that would have been really interesting if they showed Iceland and Greenland. That would have had some interesting questions to be asked, you know. But, any case, uh, continuing along. Hmm. Dev biased or cat? Yeah. Um, Dev bias. They waited a long time to show the map of
And
Scandinavia.
Sweden isn't super
Yeah.
big, so I don't know if it can be called dev bias anymore.
I don't know though, Vector. I do.
Although Sweden starts pretty dang powerful. It starts in a union
Mhm.
with Norway, and Scania is a vassal. So
The Finns, what they've done to the Finns too. It's a little. And you say a, a a PU. They're in a PU with Norway. You say. Okay, I need to see.
yep.
So
Yeah, on the
Denmark
peninsula proper, we have Sweden and Norway who are in a union at the moment as they share the same king. Scania was sold off to Sweden by the Danes 5 years before the start of the game. The good
sold
old days when kings randomly sold large parts of their realms to each other.
sold. They just
Sold
sold
for
Scania.
5,000 Swedish crowns.
Wow, that's rough. As far as I understand, Scania is good. Like that is
Yeah, it
like good
is.
land.
Yeah.
It is.
You're correct in this assessment.
Oops. Well, they never have got it back.
They
Like,
did.
it's just for the rest of history. No?
No, they got it back at the EU4
They got
start.
it
Remember?
back for a little bit.
Oh, EU4 they have it again? I didn't
Yeah,
remember.
and then they
Yeah.
lost it again.
It was transferred back when the Kalmar Union became a thing, basically. If my memory is right, although it's been a while since I studied.
So they considered it at the time de jure Denmark, essentially. Then that makes sense at the Union. But Denmark is in a bit of a crisis at the moment. Their vassal Schleswig is in the south on the peninsula. On the south. Okay, that's all. That's all. That just they're just in a bit of a crisis, and their vassal Schleswig in the south. They look like they're in such an ass situation right now. If it wasn't for the tolls, they probably get good money from the tolls. But if it wasn't for that, I bet that Schleswig would be able to actually put up a fight against them.
I'll see something surprising soon.
This is why the Danish people are sometimes considered to be trolls, because the only way of surviving is because of tolls.
There is no the river trolls. Do you know about the Vector in The Hobbit? There's like a Mandela effect where tons of people, myself included, for the longest time thought that there were river trolls in around Lake Town, specifically because
What?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
it's because there is a line in The Hobbit that talks about the bridge to like to and from Esgaroth, and they say
Yep.
there's not much conflict on this bridge except a couple scuffles over river tolls. It's a children's book. So if you read it for the first time as a child, there's a good chance
Okay. Yeah, I
that
could
people
see it happening.
misinterpret it. Myself included. My whole class thought that it was river trolls back in school. It was hilarious. But yeah. Denmark got Scania back after a Swedish civil war where they backed the winning side, which gave it back to them. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting.
That's at the start of
history.
Mayu and taxes.
That's oh yeah, because they are in the middle of that civil. Okay,
Mhm.
makes sense. Mm-hmm. There is no need to show off a dynasty map, as Denmark does not exactly have a ruling king at the moment, and the rest is ruled by Magnus IV of the Bjalbo dynasty. Bjalbo. Bjalbo.
Yolbo.
Yes. That's it.
Pronounce Swedish, you must pronounce everything like you're eating a meatball. To pronounce Danish, you must pronounce it like you have a potato in your mouth. So I've been told anyway.
Bjalbo. Bjalbo.
Perfect.
Add more mashed potatoes until the accent becomes correct.
Nah,
They sold
more lutefisk.
they sold Estonia to the Livonians. Oh gosh! Luckily for Denmark, they haven't done that quite yet. Then, oh,
I mean, I think it's literally like a few years after this game start. I imagine it's going to be like the sale of Newmark in
please make it.
EU4.
Please make it an event. I hope that's an event. It's just like, oh, do you want to sell it to the Livonians? And the Livonians are just, yes, please. Actually, no. If I was the Livonian order, who is a subject of the Teutons, I think they're subject of the Teutons.
Yes, they're a subject. They're a subject of the Teutons.
Yeah, the Teutons don't have to ask permission at that point. Denmark's so weak right now. You don't got to ask permission to get Estonia, but you know. If it ain't too expensive. Between Scania and Estonia, you would choose Scania? Yeah, I would very much choose Scania over Estonia. Estonia is good for one thing, and that is the fact that sorry, any Estonians, like all 5 of you. But it's only good for one thing at this point in time, and that is the fact that it is near Novgorod. But the thing that makes me curious is I'm interested to see how the fact that there is no current king chosen for Denmark is going to work, and how the different results of that potentially could play out. And I'm curious how, because we only know so much about like the nitty-gritty of how PUs actually function, but I am very curious as a result of this how that interplay between Sweden and Norway will work because of it. They theoretically just can't fight, for example. They have a defensive alliance as a result of this PU. And how can that progress as the game goes along if it doesn't break up? That's what I am very curious about. Just shall rule Denmark. Okay, buddy. Okay, Mr. Pole. You could go back in your box, Drac. Just settle down. Mm-hmm. Suppose there's going to be an event where the Union collapses. Well, if the Union collapsed historically relatively soon, like within a few decades, then I would not be surprised if they did such a thing. But if not, then if it wasn't something relatively soon, then I doubt they would account for it. Like if it isn't within the Iberian wedding kind of time frame, then for vanilla EU4, current EU4, what we've got, then I doubt they would account for that. But we don't know enough. I don't think.
The Union lasted until 1387, by the looks of it.
Well, that's within the time frame that I could imagine there being an event that breaks it up.
1364 is this other one also.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about the Kalmar Union and such to know how they came into power.
Okay, so the way that it happened apparently was that, interestingly enough, it was this, they were forced to relinquish Sweden, not Norway first. So there were 3 kings of this dynasty that held both thrones. The first and the second one was forced to abdicate the Swedish throne and just had the throne of Norway after the 1360s. So that's actually quite fascinating.
The local Swedish nobles doing local Swedish noble things and kicking off foreign monarchs angrily as they do.
But it's one of the in origin, anyway, from what I can tell. Oh, that's interesting.
I would not be surprised, as you're saying, fair 100. I would not be surprised if I could just call you Matt, I guess. Matfer. Matfer. I would not be
Mattifer?
surprised then. Mattifer. Yes, I would not be surprised, my good sir, if they had some sequence of events that could lead to the Kalmar Union, because that would be very neat if it was a case of. I mean, okay, it's something that happens historically. It's a big deal. It happens not all that long into the course of the game, all things considered. So it would be very neat if it was something that could be accounted for, and they would have a chance of it happening.
When did the Kalmar Union come into play? Let me see.
I don't know when it happened, but it exists at the start of EU4, so it's within a century of the game start.
1397.
Okay.
60 years exactly.
How did it happen though? Is there any like quick, just like, is it inheritance, an agreement?
I think it was a mix of agreements and election, essentially. Like the
Okay.
Swedish nobles needed a king, and so they invited in Denmark's ruling queen, I think it was.
Denmark's Master is saying that Johan has told us that there's going to be some railroading. So, yeah.
Oh, Kalmar Union then.
Excellent.
Although I imagine the Swedish developer company is going to make an option for a Swedish-led Kalmar Union.
Well, here's the thing. Because PUs are defensive alliances, so what?
They're organizations, although they have said that while they're technically equal, it's very likely that one can be dominant depending on the type.
Because they're they're considered a international organization. Yeah. Yes. And I suppose you'll have different amounts of influence in said organization. And you can influence the other members somehow.
Like, technically, before Victoria, Britain and Hanover were in a personal union, but I don't think you can imagine Hanover being the dominant or equal partner in that relationship.
Yes. That's why it seems a little odd to me, the way that they're describing them as being defensive alliance, equal partner. That's because that doesn't feel like how they were treated historically. But I suppose
even Poland and Lithuania it wasn't, because the Polish nobles had so many more rights than the Lithuanian ones.
Yeah. Drac will tell us, no, slander. It was wonderful, yes. But I think I imagine, as we're repeating over and over, that what is going to happen with PUs is that you will quite simply have the ability for ones that are stronger or more influential, prestigious, maybe whatever it is. There will be things that influence one of them having the option to become more dominant. So, yeah, Poland Lithuania was a real union. We're just saying that, like, them. They're rather infamous for being Polish leaning, and the Kalmar Union is very infamous for being Denmark leaning. And then after it breaks apart and Denmark still has Norway, even more Denmark favored. So, point being that things like that, you can imagine that they will have ways that you can influence each other. Locations. I don't imagine this. And anything that stands out as particularly interesting about the locations. There's the Swedish outpost thing. There's a few more locations. The locations on the Kola Peninsula, there's actually more of them than I thought there would be.
Yeah, I thought they're going to have like 15 people each.
Yeah, but like Kola location right here, that's like, I would have expected that location to be like this whole thing. Anyway, it's a lot more space than I thought in a lot of these places, which is neat. It seems that they do tend to have, in places that are less populated to have larger locations. But in general, there's a pretty high density, which is making me excited about optimization. Because if they're comfortable enough to have this high of a location density across the map, even in places as north as this, uh, that's probably going to be good in the optimization department. So probably, maybe, hopefully. Finland, yeah, they got their. Yeah. Also, I do really like these all like when you have little impassables that even when they're not especially big, just spice up movement between areas and all that. Mountain Pass there in Norway. That's that's worth noting, of course. That small mountain pass. You want to fort that up. Of course, Stockholm, Uppsala. It's all pretty dense. The area map mode is area. Yeah. It's not really much more than Denmark. Yeah, it's a little interesting, but locations aren't the big thing you're looking for when you come here. But as Gamal had said a while ago, I would not be surprised if this ends up being the single least interesting Tinto maps next to Iberia. Well, continue along anyway. While Scandinavia has a lot of locations, we have to remember that this is a huge area, and together with Kola and Karelia, it is the same size as France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Benelux together. The size of locations are smaller in the south, particularly where the population was and still is relatively bigger.
It's just so empty.
Roskilde, however you say that. No, Copenhagen yet.
Copenhagen.
Provinces. Covering up these provinces. What? Huh?
I don't get it. We've already seen much of that area.
What the heck? Yeah, what's
Oh, it might be
that?
because they're in the midst of doing the feedback for the regions, so they don't
you're
want
right.
people to see it before the feedback is completely integrated.
Makes perfect sense to me. Interesting things here include such things as the incredible distinction between different regions in Norway. you have Oslo, just the area of Oslo basically, and then just right next to it you have some huge ones. Like Oppland there. Oppland, usually Oslo is inside like Oppland when it comes to areas that like mapping of Norway. Three three colas and three Laplands. We've got Södra Lapland, Norra Lapland, Eastern Lapland. Why do you put the okay? It's Eastern. You couldn't put that in Swedish too. You gotta have South, North, East. Like we all know what these mean. It's not very
Truly
subtle, but
beautifully and inventive names.
I don't know. It's just a little. It's inconsistent in a weird way for me. It's like why? Wait, no. I was about to say, oh, it's because they control it, but no, they don't have like any of Lapland at game start. Trondelag? I don't know. I don't know where I would look for that. So I can't. I'm not sure.
Nord-Trondelag, Sør-Trondelag. It's in Norway on the coast.
Yeah. Nord. Here we go to, wow, topography. Norway. Norway ain't looking so good. Oh God. None of it's, oh wait, there's one plateau. Almost none of it is flat. Oh, that is, yeah. But you get so many of these, like they're really making use of the narrows up here with fjords. That's interesting. That's basically never going to come into play in naval combat, but that's interesting. Hmm. What's the This is a narrows. These are narrows. I guess you could justify that being narrows where it becomes a little thinner, but that might be reaching a little bit, man. Love some fjord gaming. Yeah. I guess this is where Trondheim is. There's Trondelag, some flat land. Uh, Kola is actually a lot more flat, though it's probably flat Arctic. Sparse, yeah, it's gonna be flat, sparse, Arctic. Oh, look at these forests everywhere. Ooh. Tree. They're gonna be exporting so much wood to the rest of Europe from here. Goodness. Precision in details is what distinguishes a good game from a great game. Well, what precise details are you referring to here? Are you referring to a lack of precise details or presence of? Not entirely sure. Is it when it comes to the terrain map mode? Are you saying that things like the precision of the plateau up here, the flatland, or are you a little ways behind and you're talking about areas still in reference to? I don't even see it anymore, but anyway. No plateaus in Poland. The general precision of random stuff. They do seem to be quite yeah, they're looking at a lot more of those minor details that you don't see paid as much attention to in EU4 by comparison because they can afford to now. They got better tech and all that. Um Gosh, yeah. Ah, they gave away that. Yeah, I thought I remembered it being good land down here, but yep, Scania, lots of farmland. They should have studied Polish geography for 1 year. Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. Listen, Poland is famously flat. What kind of plateaus are you gonna have? Yeah, there's a single actual mountain in Poland. Uh, Mostly flatland. By the rule that if the peaks are less than 500 meters, it's flatland. You need to have over 1,000 meters and rather uneven to be a mountain. Norway's interesting because there's lots of impassables. Yeah. And here's the climate. Yeah, well, there's a reason I moved to Spain. All that he says in the climate one. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you can't blame him.
I can't wait to see this for North America, man. I'm so excited to see what this looks like.
Your home being Arctic.
If they make Southern Alberta Arctic, I will scream. There's no way. There's no way they would. They're more precise than that.
Nah, I would not put it past them.
They basically do. Is the thing. I can't complain. Okay, like my thing. I won't talk too much about fucking Alberta right now, but just the thing is, I normally hate what they do with Canada in these games, but they're actually doing a better job this time around in regards to like the way you've got there's like passageways in between impassables, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like literally, you've made a place impassable that is quite literally where my grandparents live, but at the same time, there's a lot more area that you can have in my province, and my province is also treated a lot more nicely than most provinces, so I'll take what I'm given, I suppose. I'll still complain, but you know. Anyway, cultures. Most of the northeast is still Sami, and the Finnish tribes have not unified into the more modern Finnish culture that we decided to call the modern.
With their more ancient name of Kevin.
Kevin. Yeah. Kevin. We
It
decided to
probably
call the
less
Kevin
less
people.
jokingly, it's probably Kevin.
Well, yeah. uh, this name, it's Kevin now.
Praise be Kevin.
Yes. We still have the Gutnish on Gotland, but the Norwegian, Danish, and the Swedish cultures have been becoming more monolithic already. Where is Remerod? I miss him. I wish he could be here for this. He would be fun
God,
to
the
talk
Finns
about
are
this.
actually so broken up, but then there's just one Swede.
This is dreadful. Oh my god, there was a Swede. There was a Swede in our Russian stream, remember? And he was sad.
They're even majority on the coast of Finland, man.
Most of the coast of Finland is Swedish. Accurate Finland. Accurate Finland. Makes me wonder if they can produce food from farming in Sweden. Did they just lock a chunk of hospitable land? Oh, is what Immortal's saying there in response to? Is what you're saying Immortal in response to one of these maps like this, or are you talking about like just like my thing in my province? Yeah. There's a part of my province that I have grandparents that live on and they farm, and that place is considered wasteland. It's a wasteland impassable.
Look, simply because your grandparents were silly enough to settle on wasteland doesn't mean Paradox got it wrong.
It's the same climate as like Ukraine where they came from, man. I don't know. Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Vepsians from the previous one. Well, there's a little bit of Vepsian culture, but yeah, it's gonna be so sad that there are all of these cultures out here that you just can't play as because there's like 5 people of that culture. There's like none of them. Like Matt just is still accurate to this day in Finland. Yeah, the coast is mostly Swedes. The Kven. There's no Kven state. There's no Sami state. I am so sad that you can't play a Sami country. There just isn't a Sami country. There's no
Maybe
Finnish country. I am unironically more sad that there is no Sami country than about the Finns.
Hey, Joffrey, I want to direct you towards one of the first lines of this Tinto talk. The line directly below the first map.
Scandinavia has only 5
location-based countries.
Let's not overread into it at this point. I don't want you getting your hopes up and then getting crushed by reality.
It's too late for that.
You are correct, Vector. It is far too late for that now. I won't rant about it right now, but all I'm saying, give me playable migratory Sami tribe up here. Give me some fins. I can see it. I can see it. I can see the light dark. It's so near. Please don't rush this game out. Please give it time to cook. I want this to work properly.
Kaven. I just love that name, Kaven.
It's fun. Give me Kevin. I want to play as a Kevin.
Call it by its right name. It's Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin. I want to play as Kevin. 5. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Scania, Schleswig. Schleswig is one of those numbered. Yeah. You take Kevin over Western Baltic any day? Yeah. 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 You know why you can tell it's a bad name? You can tell it's a bad name because I right now genuinely don't even remember which one of them is the Pruthenian culture and which one's the Germans. I genuinely don't remember whether Liv is the German one or whether Western Baltic's the German one.
Western Baltic.
I could not tell you. Western Baltic's what? Is that the Germans?
I'm not sure.
You don't remember either.
It just is. That's all we need to know.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. It's because they can't just call it Curonian because they're being lazy. I say they're being lazy. They're adding so many small cultures everywhere. It's not lazy. They're doing stuff like these cultures tucked in Finland, but this right here, these 3 cultures here, splitting up Finnish like this and adding Ven is part of why I feel it really weird that they have Western Baltic as a culture to just represent all of the Baltic just cultures that they just didn't feel like fitting into their own cultures, you know? It's like there's just no old Prussian culture on the map. It's instead Western Baltic. You know? It's just weird. Yeah, exactly. As Drac is saying, Prussian is a German culture that's on the map. Western Baltic is the Curonians and the Latvians are Latvians have their own culture. It's mainly the Curonians and the old Prussians.
Yeah, I want to say that
together.
Livonian is the German, and Western Baltic is the Pruthenian related one.
Mm-hmm. I think so. The more I looked at it, thinking that yeah, it's the way that they're centralized in a couple places here. I think yeah. But it's not great. It's not great, but maybe if people bitch about it enough, they'll change it. Who knows? Mainly because I especially want there to be. I don't know how tags work in this, mind you. I don't know if there's like primary tag. I don't want the people like rebels, you know. I don't want people. It's like these are rebels who want independence for Curonia.
These are rebels.
I don't want Western Baltic rebels to all be like, yeah, like okay, we're.
I demand the independence of Western Baltica.
Yeah, fuck no, man.
Western
They're not even in the Western Baltic. This is why it's so annoying. They're in the middle of the Baltic. It's like, but moving along. And religions. Yeah, you get the shot. The Sami. The Finnish are mostly Catholic, but the Sami,
the funny deer worshipping are here.
Savonia, Bjarmian, and Karelians are mostly still following their old pagan beliefs. There are still some Norse people in the forests of Dalarna and Vastmanland. Oh! Shit! There's a county!
Yeah. Or a location. Yeah, whatever that we call them.
Same bloody thing. Everyone knows that when you're a Paradox gamer, you call them by whatever the game you played the most calls them.
A single indomitable county, village thing of Norse hold out against the unwavering crusade of the Christians.
That's really cool. That there, I love its location too. Is next to this river, and there's other places that have a substantial population as well.
You see, Joffrey, that's actually not a river. That's actually a lake.
I said lake.
No,
You
you
said
said
river.
river.
Okay.
It's okay, Joffrey. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Some more than
but not
others.
me. I don't. I'm not meant to make mistakes. I've ruined everything now. Anyway,
We know.
Literally medieval pagan boomers. I like the instant I look at this and start talking about the Norse people in chat, are just like, wow. You have Drac who's like, they're so based, and then Matfer is just lame boomers. They won't move along. I mean, we remember.
I do think there is a kind of a level of cringe for how some people wank the Norse. So I'm gonna be on the cringe side.
I mean, I watched some of the basically the last like 5 episodes of Vikings with like Hendrix and a couple other folks, and the lady who is Norse pagan still in that show is so good at making people hate her. It's like, damn, yeah, these people are cringe. Listen, I know that all the Catholic peasants are like being like, burn the witches and stuff, but listen,
They're
they
not
ain't
really
randomly.
witches, they're pagans.
Because I wouldn't care so much if it wasn't for the fact that all the Norse fans are super cringy about it. Okay,
They're usually all. I mean, in
I've
modern,
never actually.
rep
I've
them
never seen
better,
their
and maybe
band.
I wouldn't consider it this way.
most of the ones I've met in modern day are witches. At the same time, so there's that.
I've never met a modern Norse pagan.
The only ones I've met are neo-Nazis. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, okay. I was wondering what type of like cringe fans you were talking about, but actually, yeah.
Vector, you and
Now
I
I
meet
know.
very different pagans.
I mean, I've only met like 2 or 3, but that was enough.
Average Norse fan versus average Suamanusko enjoyer.
It's true.
Deer.
Soul Menso has the base deer icon.
Yes,
I think it's a
like
moose.
the deer. I like
Yeah.
I like moose.
Moose.
I don't like moose when it's flying through your car through your windshields, but you know they taste good. They look cool. They make funny noises. They make the most haunting sounds sometimes. Just yeah. They sound like
Moose.
no, they do not go moo. Every once in a while I will every once in a while I have the realization that they really should have called cows moose and moose cows. Because the sound they make.
Moving on.
No. Remember, No, we're not talking about Hyperborea now. Wow, Sammy Shamanist. Next meme. It's a cool color, but it's also like the same as Catholicism, which is going to be sad when I play my migratory tribe of them and just take over everything, and it will look the same. Yeah. They still haven't gotten rid of the animists. They're never going to get rid of the Vespians with their animist faith. Just give them Sumanusko or something, anything other than animist, please.
No.
Time to look for salt, for sand. Fish. Fish sticks for days. Marble. Yo. Got different kinds of stone. You got stone, fish, stone, different kind of stone, fish. And who could forget tree? There are 3 things here in Scandinavia. Tree, animal that you shoot, and animal you fish. That is all. This is how the Canada resource map is going to look. Oh, you take that back. You take that back. Actually, no.
Look,
Not
no
really.
getting angry at a person for speaking the truth.
It is kind of true, isn't it? I don't know what
I
else.
mean, there will
Like,
be some slight variants, but
what the hell is
rumbling
my
up
province
with
going to
it.
have? What am I going to have other than like wild game?
There isn't an oil resource, so
Yeah. My province is going to have wheat. Yep. Actually, it's mostly going to be animals. Yeah, there's going to be lots of wild game, some wheat,
it's all going to be beavers.
and fur, yeah, fur, wild game, and what is the livestock? Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Honestly, inland, just nothing but trees and furry creatures.
That's right, Matt. We haven't developed. Yes, at this point in time, when I do, because as everyone knows, I'm playing the Blackfoot my first playthrough, so we've got to
Yes,
invent
for some reason, he's just determined to like torture himself.
by playing like the most irrelevant country on the map. I do. It is something of a point of pride for me that the absolute least relevant place on the entire map in EU4 and EU5, I guess, is where I live. There's just absolutely no one who ever goes there for any reason. Like, people joke about the Haida, but no, because at least they're on the coast. So you like playing at 5 speed? I love this guy. You, Matt Fur. You got some lip. You got. Actually, wait. Is there anything like? There's no medicaments down there. There's no. Okay. There's some iron and copper in Sweden.
Of course, there's iron and copper in Sweden. What do you expect?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But this is where that cringe copper mine is.
Produces like 75% of Europe's copper. So
yeah. Sand. At last.
I don't like that sand is the exact same color as wild game now.
It is now. They need to fix this.
They can make wild game like, then if it's brown, it's the same as fur.
there is no victory here. Only different shades of defeat.
There's just no
I'll be back
precious
in a minute.
metal.
Fur is kind of brownish from what I can see here, Drac.
It's like fur.
But
Yeah,
I think wild game could be made more of like a reddish brown.
fur is a brown gray. But yeah. If you made
I
it,
think a reddish brown would be better for wild game.
that would definitely work. Imagine being colorblind in EU5. Well, then I guess you just have to read. Tragic, but sometimes it has to be done. Why is this a different color? That's weird. There's no way that's marble just on that island for some reason. Reading's cringe. You want to just eye glance. Oh. Sand. It's sand. Yeah, what about amber and wheat?
See, Matt, it's mostly just for convenience to make it a different. But yeah, amber and wheat.
Well, he knows. He knows that it's for convenience. He just said that reading is cringe.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know about amber and wheat. The problem is what other color do you make amber?
You make it amber colored.
I guess, but amber color doesn't translate well to in-game.
It's just like what? Yeah, it would be similar to copper, but nicer looking. Because amber is just like better copper.
It's just a little bit
Color,
more
that is.
orange.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
fine.
the color that. It's like the color for the Empire. I escaped to Jamie.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
about what it is. It's actually almost exactly that.
like because this color here, this is piss. This is piss yellow. This is, I mean, you would call it yellow. God damn it. faded as hell. Anyway. Wait, is it salt?
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, there just isn't... what did they say about it? Yeah. Famous Copper Mountain. There ain't shit up here. Scandinavia is dreadful for resources. Holy!
I mean, Sweden's not that bad. Plenty of iron and copper, like you said.
Yeah.
And trees.
Wait, okay, go back to Denmark.
Denmark is just small.
Yeah. It's got a deep, like, okay. I think the more I look at Denmark, the more I realize that Denmark is worse than it looks.
Mhm.
When you look
But
at
I
it,
don't
you
think
see a lot of
Sweden is that
variety.
bad.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
Sweden is fine.
I think Sweden's fine. And there's no iron in it. There ain't any iron up here.
I mean,
What
it's pretty
the-
flat. I'm not surprised.
Pretty flat. It's like 80% of Norway
You
is
mean
mountain.
Norway?
Yeah, I meant Norway.
Yeah. Okay, that part.
Because
Yeah, I'm not
stone.
surprised.
It's all just different kinds of stone, and then you have copper. That is the only metal here. The only metal in all
Sometimes
of
that's
Norway.
all you need.
Yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
copper. Make some copper short swords like we're playing frickin' Terraria. Sure
Yeah.
thing. Vikings got their iron from bogs. That sounds familiar. Imagine if they have a special building for that with unique production methods. That would be mega cringe, but also funny.
Have you ever played Valheim, Joffrey?
No.
Okay, because in that, you play a Viking who gets iron from the swamps.
You just dig around in the swamp and like sift through
Yep.
like, pieces of iron.
It
That
ain't
sounds
much.
horrible.
Swamps in Valheim. So, if this guy's saying Vikings get iron from bogs, I'm not... Honestly, makes sense.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
Probably was, but when you can't get it any other way.
What was the terrain? There ain't no bog, like there ain't no like big enough to be a tile that is a marsh on the
Bogs
map.
don't need to be big.
So, yeah. Because I mean, when they make something marsh on the map as a location, it means that it's very much dominated by it. So, yeah. You've got cold bogs up there, just like I've got cold bogs. If they better make part of northern Alberta marsh. I'll be angry. Yeah. No, it's Manitoba where all the lakes are. Anyway, that's me talking about my own province again. Can you tell that I really want to get to North America? I really want to get to North America. It's not going to happen
Geez,
for a long
I
time,
could
though.
never have gotten that impression.
Yeah. We're not going to get to North America until we're done with everything else, because as I established already, my place is the most irrelevant place on the map, so, yeah.
Hey, we'll probably get to your place before we get to the actual interesting part of of America during this time period. The Mesoamerica and the Andes.
No. They'll go there first.
I hope they do.
They will go to Cuzco immediately.
No,
That's
they
my
might
bet.
they might go to Mexico first.
I'm betting Cuzco.
I hope it's Cusco.
I think
I
it's
want to
Cuzco
see the Andes.
because that's where the interesting stuff is happening. We saw on the religious map. Again, we saw that they made like it basically looks like Inti is just in Cuzco, and they're gonna add more faiths outside of it. This is when shit's kicking off.
Yeah.
So
I think I've made it clear in the past that I'm a big Inca fan, so I'm looking forward to it.
I respect that. I think in 1337, Canada was half marsh and half mountain. Shut the fuck up.
Honestly true. Honestly true.
You be quiet before I get my katana and slice you in two.
Wow,
With
not
a
even a
single
Canadian
slice.
weapon?
What is a Canadian weapon? A hockey
Exactly.
stick?
Exactly. No, I'm pretty sure the Finns invented that.
Anyway, markets. Scandinavia is divided between the rich markets of Lübeck and Riga. A strong Scandinavian country will probably want to set up their own unified market. I can definitely imagine if you want to. If you're playing as Sweden,
Okay,
it
damn,
would.
I was wrong. Canada invented hockey. It was a
There's a
and the
lot
first
of.
game. The first game took place in Montreal, I believe. Yeah, Montreal.
There's a book about it.
Damn.
Everyone reads it as a kid in Canada, basically.
All right, so yeah, I guess the only weapon you got is a hockey stick.
We could do slash the
hope that-
monitor.
Hope
I
that
will-
makes you feel safe.
I will slash through the monitor and it will cut your very soul. It has been folded 10,000 times.
Honestly, if you just polish that bald head, you might blind me.
That's how I will harm him. I will get revenge on Matt with the bald head. Solar panel. Alright. But I imagine that my eyes. I imagine that it would probably be pretty easy as Sweden if you once you start consolidating more to make your own market and get most of your own country in it. And once you expand outward, if you had set up a market in Uppsala, I imagine you could probably cut off Riga from the north for what that's worth. But the real test would be stopping Lübeck's insane dominance over this region. Yeah. Pop numbers. Denmark still has more men.
Some would call it soda numbers instead.
A whole 7-Eleven. I want to go to 7-Eleven. But
Why?
because it's a store. And
Yes,
if you go
but
there
there's much
early,
better options.
but if you go there early, they have glazed donuts that are really good.
Nothing beats Cub for donuts.
If Denmark still had Skane, and then you add their subject of Schleswig, they would be. They would reach the 4 digits. They'd be up there just barely. Apparently someone in the comments said that they gave Sweden and Denmark 100k pops for balancing. Huh?
Least biased devs.
Just gave them extra people? It's like, listen, we know that they shouldn't have this many people.
But we don't care.
Let's just give them 100k extra people just to make them stronger. You know, for that balancing. I like nice round numbers as estimates, but the team I hired for content design are madmen and wanted the distribution to feel more organic. Wow. Wow, it would be a shame. For the far north of Scandinavia, we know that the people were semi-nomadic and that some people lived there, but if it was 100 there or 250 there or 20 there is just guesswork. And let's end with a quote from the greatest of poets. Yeah.
I want to translate that.
Yeah.
I actually didn't translate that. Let's put it in Google Translate.
I've got the thing where when I highlight it, it lets
yeah.
speech. Tried to translate it, but it doesn't actually work very well.
Translates to rule IKEA. IKEA rules the bookshelves.
It translates to this.
I'll get well, it can't be fooled, I must rise. If I were in the grave, listen here, you hear the guns at Utah's. There, the retreat at the... Okay.
Weird.
I mean, I guess it probably sounds better in the local language.
It sounds better in the
I
original
want, I'll
Klingon.
get well. It
Yeah,
can't be fooled.
I can't
I must
imagine
rise if I were in the grave.
most poetry
Listen,
works well
here,
when
you
translated.
hear the guns at Utah's. They're the retreat
Poor
of the
Bryce,
Finnish
he
army
had
is decided.
Issues trying to translate my song battle.
Yeah,
From English into
rhyme
French.
rhyme schemes and like syllable syllable length lines is they just don't work when translated, I think.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't even thought about it, but I felt really bad for him.
Man, Denmark has a lot of people compared to the rest.
Yeah.
Almost like there was a reason why it became the center of the Union, or the center of every kingdom that was
No.
ruled.
With
That's why-
Skane, Sweden has more.
With Skane, either of them is stronger. Is the
It's
idea?
gold,
It's a big
man.
deal. It's 200K. It's good
Although,
land.
I think if you add Holstein into Denmark and you add Skane into Sweden, Denmark comes out on
It's
top.
Skåne!
Let me do some math.
Uh-huh.
Would be one on pronunciation.
They'd
I'd
both
probably
both basically be just over 900K. So they're both very similar then.
No, they'd be over 800. Denmark would be at 846,000. Sweden would be at 804,000. However, we don't know how many people are living in Estonia, which is going to be sold probably.
Estonia is
It's
considered Denmark de
untold
facto.
numbers of
But it's not,
Estonians.
it's not a subject.
I know, but it would probably be sold.
Oh, what you mean is that it's going to drop the population. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, we could probably use some of the pop, I think. Maybe.
No!
I wouldn't say more
They're
than
not
like
showing us!
700.
I mean, it's probably in the Russia diary.
Yeah.
I wouldn't guess more than like 70 to 100,000 in that area of Estonia.
Oh, that's
if you look at
generous.
Well,
the-
that's what
if you
makes the
look at
difference.
bit-
That's generous.
They-
I'd say 70,000 is generous for Estonia, I think.
They are
well,
42K.
I believe that it's got Talon, which is
There's
Estonia's
a-
future capital. So
There's a 42K difference between them. So that would make a big difference.
Huh?
But if Denmark gets their hands
Ne-
on Skane, they're over 1 million.
Next week, Pavia is back with some German maps. We're seeing the rest of the HRE proper in its
huzzah!
Ultras
Europe
and
will
such.
finally be whole.
yes,
Took long enough.
about bloody time. And then what? I don't know.
About
Maghreb? Next is probably Maghreb after that, I guess. That would be my assumption. Which would be neat, I guess, because then they might talk a bit more about. Maybe they'll show us some more, migratory tribes. Maybe we'll get to see the rest of Fez.
Praise
Which,
be.
yeah. All right. Let's go see some responses. The steppes and the Caucasus. Who
Oh, that's true.
cares?
They do have to show off the Golden Horde.
Yeah, they haven't. That is still Europe. That is still part of Europe. Yeah. Forgot the Russia diary did not include all of Russia. Just the Russian states. We have not seen. Did we see Kiev? Yeah, we saw Kiev. And it's in the shitter.
Well, yeah, Kiev was.
It's ruled
Kiev
by a
didn't really-
Lithuanian prince.
It didn't really recover after it got sacked by the Mongols.
It was torched, and then now a Lithuanian prince rules it. So that's great. Yeah.
But you can't wait for your Ukrainian heritage to rise up when you play your first game in Ruthenia, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. You. Oh my God. They're actually Johan's implying that there will be its own map just for Iceland and Greenland.
This is so
But they're
great.
going to post it on an off day, basically.
Wait, that is Matfer. That's Matfer in the chat.
It's
Oh, it's
just Johan's
him!
gonna be
Yeah!
bored one-
Hello.
Johan's going to be incredibly bored one Monday and just decide to go.
You're famous!
I mean, I can't. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be real.
It's only happened like 2 other times where we've been doing one of these streams and seen someone react to a person who's in chat. Sunglasses, yes. Mm, autonomy. They're debating whether or not Gotland should be a vassal.
What?
I'd be in
Gotland?
support of making it a vassal.
Instead of got milk, it's Scotland?
Mispronunciations, naming stuff, don't really care about that. We like the impassable terrain in Norway. Norway is such a fun country to try out. 3 different concentrations of population in Viken, Trøndelag, and the west coast, and connecting them by land is not really easily feasible. Winters are long and harsh, and the raw materials of fish, lumber, and wild game, while useful, are
There
not as
is
valuable
a
as
silver
spices or
mine
gold.
in Norway.
Does somebody have a cat in the background? I keep hearing a meow.
Yes.
Yes. Best
Okay.
boy.
Yeah. Joffrey's heard him many times.
Yes. Oh,
He's a needy cat.
is that? Yeah,
that's silver.
It blended in with the wall.
This is where Nemcraft's mission in EU4 comes from.
Yeah, that's right. Huh.
The one
This
that
is
he
how he
screwed
got
up and
gold
then
on
over-
Oslo.
And then overread it.
Yeah.
Overwrote it, I believe.
What happened is he got faceting, so he got gems, and then he overwrote that with gold, so he still has Diamond District on the gold mine.
Yeah, he's got extra
Oh, wow.
goods produced on a gold mine because of that. Bullshit. Bullshit. But this right here,
he got it.
this silver here, as they're saying, that the silver, the silver mine theoretically should not be open yet, but the population levels are so low that it's hard to exploit it. So it exists, but there's not many people that live there, and it's not even like really built up because it's not technically operational yet in history, which is interesting because that means that you
It's
can
fully
then, as a
armed
player,
and operational silver mine.
you could as a player look at the silver mine, silver there, and attempt to try and build up. Oh god, these hiccups. Attempt to try and draw a bunch of people in to get you more silver.
Hiccuping. Hot tour.
God. In the middle of me saying God damn it, I hiccup too. Wow. I am dying. Please give
No,
my
don't do
condolences to Cairo that I can't play. I am in the process of dying.
L. That's some L Riz, man.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
How dare you mock me mocking myself?
Nope. Wait, I'm not even sure what that nope is. I'm confused. I confused myself. Great success!
Sandpit?
Gloria.
What? More granular than I expected. Looks great. Can resources change over time? You want to turn source seal into a sand pit. They can change, but you can also build a sand pit as a building in many places. Huh.
Yay,
Well-
we can make sandboxes for all the good children.
This is sad. It makes sense, but it just ruins the sand economy. Tragic. How am I to like just but yeah, I imagine as well, for example, that you can build in a place that does not have the lumber resource but is trees. Like it's a tree terrain. You can probably get some as well from there. It's just not as effective.
Or, just pull a modern and plant a tree farm.
I imagine they did that in this time period to a degree. Just probably not as much as they should have. Fazan's sand-based economy is in shambles, Matt. I don't think that Fazan had a single sand. No, they didn't have a single sand generating thing because, as we discussed, typically when you have a sand resource, you actually are picky about the type of sand you have because it's better for different things or just better quality than others. So instead, because they're built around an oasis, the resources you're looking for are like food at the oasis, which is interesting because it means that since it's a food producing territory and they're considered. Wait, was it considered oasis terrain? I don't remember. I'm curious how effective it's going to be to build up population at those oases. I want to try. I want to try and crank up the dev in those shitty locations. Oh, so yes, love. Yes. Does wheat encapsulate rye and other similar sturdy grains? Yeah, rye and yeah, other stuff. 1,000 bonus production to dates. Yes. Will Gotland have will Gotland have a pirate haven-like port or similar feature? No. Period. Laugh. Ha ha. Will it be dull? Well, okay, will the way we deal with unclaimed locations here be similar to mechanics that applying for New World colonization? They're kind of similar. Yeah. Alright. I'd unite northern tribes to, or he asked, change the vegetation of a location. Only if we get the graphic code to work for that. Please, please get that code. People are asking for it. I want it so badly. If they do that, if they get that working where you can change the graphics of the terrain mid-game, that's crazy because it means you could somehow script in things like climate change. And Dark and I want climate change. Gib.
I want climate change.
Climate change now.
Let me deforest countries.
Deforestation nation. I want to be able to turn all of the best part of the map into Arctic land. Because God is mad. Division found. Dynamic historical event to found Copenhagen. Deforest the Amazon. Yes! Yes! Catholic Church. Pretty sure Schleswig is partially in the HRE. Partially. Yeah. It's not considered a member of the international organization then. Or maybe it is. In saying what international organizations are in the region, saying like partially, is it or is it not? How does this work? Is there more nuance to it than that? I don't know. We shall see. Maybe they'll explain. Nah, they won't explain that in the next dev diary. Oh! What the hell is the... Oh, I'm zoomed in. Lithuania. Livonians, rather. Yeah. Yeah, because... Oh, yeah, that's right. We already saw that they're in the middle of their war. The orders are in war with Lithuania and Poland.
You are so incredibly zoomed in.
I was, yeah. There's a bug where C-zone names overlap with everything and it looks like shit. Oh, that's why it's covered up. Because it says like Atlantic Ocean over it or something. I love this. Please don't rush it out. Please don't rush out the game. Please give it time.
The next post! The next post!
Do the Sami and other uncentralized people have a landless tag or other stuff to represent them other than culture / are they playable? We will talk about them in a Tinto talk later on.
That means there's something about them. There's something. There's something.
Guys, calm your jets. Do not overhype yourselves.
Vector
It's
is
too
in
late.
such shambles that he didn't even say the right... He combined two. He was good. He
What?
combined calm your tits
Oh.
and cool your jets. In shambles. He's a mess.
I guess I'm weird. I've used that combo a few times in the past.
You're so quirky. Oh my god.
Quirky
Oh my,
XD.
oh my god.
Oh, my J.
Saving the screenshot. I must make
Are you
I'm-
saving it?
I must make a YouTube video and rant about this. I must go back.
A YouTube video about hypothetical
Yeah.
landless countries.
Yeah, imagine it. I just rant and like go on a conspiracy theory, just showing every different dev diary where they talk about redacted this, redacted that, and I'll be like, look, it's the daimyos, it's the Sami, it's the Native Americans, it's the East India Company.
We already know that it's the Hanseatic League as an example of one, so
The Hanseatic
East
League.
India Company is hardly a stretch.
So many, Vector. There's so many of them. The daimyos too.
And we know that the banking families are ones.
The banking families. Can I play the Medici and then take over the thing?
I believe there's a different preeminent banking family in Florence at this point, but yes, the Medici would be in the near future. The Pazzi, I want to say.
They all gonna what? It's really nice. This is Matfer again. This is Matfer again.
It's back.
It's really nice of you guys having so many Finno-Ugric cultures in the game, considering they're all gonna culture convert in 100 years. How?
I mean, from what we've seen, the population is jack shit, so that's going to be how, Johan.
Yeah, if it's 10 a year, that's not exactly very long for
Why
a
is he
population of
confused?
150.
Why is he confused when you're looking at these areas and it's like you've got the Kven here. It's already got a large population of Swedes. Give it 3 years, this place is gonna be Swedish. The Finnish here, this stuff is all gonna convert to Swedish so fast. I have no idea why he doesn't understand. Is like the Sami up here? There's no one that lives up here. Where's the pops? I need to duplicate this. Duplicate tab. Go back to 1. Pops. Matfer with the savage display again.
All 12 of them.
They're not showing the top of Norway. Not even showing it. So ass it is. Look at this. 1K. There's 1K people around this settlement here. That's actually a notable population, but everything around it is just empty. And a large amount of it are Swedes already. He's too Swedish to understand. He doesn't know what it's like to be culturally converted. Look at all these. Look at.
I mean, he's getting dangerously close to Spanish. He takes siesta now.
This is true, right?
The man is currently undergoing cultural conversion.
Wait, yeah, don't go into the light. Yeah. Even
Johan,
without actively
Johan.
trying to culturally convert stuff, this is all Catholic already, so it's going to be converting at least 10 people per month. Like so this is gonna go. Like over the course of a year, well, 12 months in a year, you're gonna convert through people at a pace. It's not gonna take all that long, relatively speaking.
That's going to be at a decent clip.
Yeah, if you think like, because they're basically all the right religion already. You don't even need to try. That's going to be over 100 per year. So, yeah. Looks like a lot of free real estate. Yeah. Not sure I'd use the word free. I don't think
I imagine this is going to come into when they talk about colonization.
it's going to be quite expensive, I imagine. Yeah. I assume there's
Well,
probably
or
nothing
it
more
won't be
you can do about that.
free anyway. It'll just be it'll probably just be administratively and population-wise
Yeah,
burdensome.
takes lots of effort, which is, you know, again, it's one of those things that in regards to EU5, I really, really like how many questions it makes you ask in relation to, do I want to do this? I'll make Franco come around. He'll come around. He'll like EU5. I'll convert him. But he could be sad about mana for now, but he'll get there. But just the how many different things it asks you in relation to, do I want to spend this to get this? It costs me this to get this. It's not just, I have all of these resources, I have all of these the mana points, and I'm gonna just spend them. It's the resource, it's meant to be spent. In an EU5, you have a lot of these questions on, do you even want to? It's not a question of when. When it comes to the colonization of stuff like the northeast Scandinavia, I bet a lot of the time the answer is going to be no. Do you want to colonize it? No. A lot of the time, I bet no. There just won't be a reason to do so. Uh, Especially since you want to put the resources to work elsewhere to help you out. But need to see more actual fundamental stuff in regards to mechanics. You actually made Skane Danish and even made it playable. Sweet. Well, they're ruled by Sweden, yeah. I guess the idea is like, what? You didn't make it already Swedish culture. It's like, not a real Swede. It's like 100. Yeah, exactly. 100 or 150 in each location. Oof. That ain't it, Chief. That ain't it. I want to see more of that graphical terrain map they're not showing us. I want to see more. Well, recreating Sweden's EU4 borders depends. Even in 1444 was not colonized really. Yeah, I imagine so. It's just that in the case of EU4, you don't want a bunch of uncolonized land in Scandinavia for many reasons. So it makes sense that they just kind of filled it in. But yeah, I would be very surprised if you could easily within 100 years get all of northern Scandinavia. Geatish culture. Geatish is about 200 years dead and assimilated. And 1337 Swedish is more Geatish than Sphere. Okay, don't know enough about this context, but yeah. Norway's bigger on the map, and that's why. Yeah, yep. I love that feature as well. Of course, the whole, yeah, you get Kingdom of Norway. That's weird,
Yeah.
actually. That's a little weird that it's showing up like this, though. I'll say, why has the map decided that it's worth saying Kingdom of Norway here when
Because the
Sweden's
thing
name
is,
is bigger?
it's still calculating based on the way that it should go. But the thing is, he's not having the impassable painted, so it's calculating as
Oh,
if the impassable were being painted.
you're right. That must be how the code works. It must be checking for like number of continuous tiles, basically. Yeah, that makes sense. And it would, as a result, be like, yep, you own this, you own these, so we'll yeah. All right, definitely makes sense then. Yeah, extremely low numbers in Finland. Rest in peace, Finnish. Finnish ain't gonna have a chance. There's basically just not going to be a chance for Finland to be a country in this game. They just aren't going to be able to be a thing unless you. Okay. You could probably play an unlanded Finnish tribe. Probably. So there's that. But there's going to be so few. There's probably unironically more Blackfoot than there are Finnish tribesmen that you could play in a country. Isn't the Hanseatic League an international organization? No, silly. It's an unlanded nation. Landless nation. Gameplay. They're testing it. They're trying to do stuff with it in CK3 and then putting it to use in the EU5. That's the scheme. We're just the testing ground. Let's say Sweden can convert 20 people per year. They would be able to convert the vast majority of these locations in less than 50 years. That's the lowest populated location in 5 years. Yeah, yeah. That's Matt. For I like I like you're mathing it out. I know you're mathing it out, but it's funny that Johan's coming in and being like, yeah, he's elaborating that it's not impressive. But yeah, I based on what we'd seen previously, it's a lot more like a monthly basis and at least us cultural. You're like, no shit, man. Yeah. I think Johan's comment in response to you was him saying just that. I think he was assuming that you were saying it was too fast. I'm guessing that he was thinking that you were going like, that's crazy, man. Sweden can convert all of this land so quickly. When in reality, you're just like, huh. Interesting fact. You could do it in 5 years. Yeah. It's not necessarily that it's crazy fast, not necessarily that it's crazy slow. It's just like, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing to keep in mind as well that I don't think Johan quite appreciates is if you're doing multiple of these simultaneously, it speeds up the whole affair quite significantly.
Yes. When you look at...
It's like, if it's a single location you can do at a time, then yeah, I guess I could see his point. But if, from the way they've described it, that it's being done by buildings and passive stuff, it's going to be happening a bunch all over, not just in...
As someone playing Sweden myself, for example, Vector, I know for a fact, because you're going to have your two like cabinet actions, I'd be putting my cabinets on converting Finland culturally.
Probably not Finland, but I would definitely be converting the Sami and the Kevins as I go north.
They'll convert automatically so quickly is the thing. There's like a few thousand Swedes in some locations, or Finns in some locations is the difference. So for me, it's like, oh yeah, I'd put it on here so that it just gets going and I don't have to worry about it. Because once you get over the like majority population threshold, then it's like, okay, well, don't have to worry about it so much anymore. But it's like, as I go, I would be like, yeah, I want to boost up the conversion speed. Because the way that, the population replacement works, it comes to a point where if your population isn't all growing, you're not going to convert them passively. But it's kind of fast though, yeah. It's kind of bullshit that by the 1600s all of Finland is Swedish. Yeah, okay. If you've got, how many thousands was it? Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Never mind. These population numbers are even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
I love
the largest population centers
Finland
are
has
Swedes.
A grand total of like 40,000 people.
There's probably no more than
50,000 absolute top.
There's like 10k Finns. There's like 10k Finnish culture people.
Most of these people in the big pop centers are Swedish.
Yeah.
Almost certainly.
So you're right, Matt. For the more I think about it, yeah, it not even by 1600. No, not even by 1600. By the end of the 1300s, if Finland's colonizing, they'll have converted it all to Swedish. Easy. Passively. Not even with my... Forget what I was saying about putting my cabinet members on actively converting stuff. I could do that if I felt like it, but be better served doing something else with the fact that this is all getting sorted out quick. Yeah, many of them are already Swedish. There's a lot of... When you look at that culture map, there's a lot... A couple places up here, yeah, there's a lot of places here that's like, oh, there's large minority of Swedes already. There's probably Swedish minorities all over the place here, already showing up. And the devs only knows how many buildings or advancements. Yeah, you're right. There's probably a lot of those things that change it too. Oh, there's just not going to be any opportunity for Finland to just exist. Unless it all comes down to that hypothetical. Sweden owns more than I thought too. I forgot the far inland here.
Yeah, they basically own everything that's got more than like 300 population.
Yeah, they own all of Finland that's actually ever relevant. It's like, oh, jeez. Like, you could probably play a Finnish tribe. But there's barely any Finnish culture that's outside of it. That's Sweden. But you could probably, there's probably, I don't know. I don't know how the unlanded nations are going to work, but like maybe there's one for each of the cultures. Maybe. I doubt it at this point, though. But you could probably play one of these guys and try to claw something together with these unowned territories, but God. Ugh. But informative in response to that. I mean, surely they're going to tweak the Swedish population in Finland. I don't know, man. The dev team's Swedish. They're not going to be charitable. They are not going to be charitable with this. Like, I would not count at all on them making a event that causes Sweden to lose land to a rising Finnish state, for example. Because that wasn't a thing at this time. The Finns didn't come into existence until much later as a proper
in the sense
state.
Of an independent Finnish state.
Nope, there's no Finns.
Longer.
The Finnish culture does not exist.
I don't think
I can't.
There has never been an independent Finnish state until the Soviet Union came to be.
Well, not true. There was the Grand Duchy of Finland under the Imperial Russians.
That wasn't really an independent state.
Well, yeah, but the mention of the Soviets confused me then, because at that point, why don't you just say the Republic of Finland? Why do you have to mention the Soviets?
Because that's when it became
the point in time.
The Russian Revolution.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's whatever.
Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Confusingly correct. Your way of communicating it.
I think it works out.
Let's not get petty about the way we refer to the Soviet republics now. Talk about what a fjord is called. Dominion. Isn't a dominion a dominion's a type of PU, I think. Pretty sure that a dominion is.
It's some type of vassal subject.
It's essentially. I don't think that a dominion has its own ruler. I don't remember. I don't know for sure. Next week's chaos. Yeah, let's see that culture map of Germany. Oh boy.
Germania.
Oh god. Oh god. It's questions about no. Talking about Finland. No, we won't increase it. Yeah. Because they have enough Swedes living there. Why does Sweden own Luleå without owning locations connecting to it? Because they have
That's the
enough
little
Swedes
outpost.
living there. I guess.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like a trading outpost in Origin that's just grown big enough.
Idea being that, like, yeah, it's representable as a Swedish possession because there is a lot of Swedes living there and they trade. Yeah. Tom Bombadil said,
Reader.
Oh, what the hell is this? Eastern Finland is rather hilly and rugged, but is represented as flatland since the hill don't surpass 500 meters in height. 500 meters up and down is basically flatlands.
It depends on how steep the incline is for up and down, I suppose, because I know, for example, here in the Midwest, you can get similar rises up and down, but if it's all a slowly inclining plane, I can get why somebody would call it flatlands.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I get that. I get that now. Yeah. There's a lot of places out in, the Great Plains of North America where you, it's like, well, there's large changes in elevation over time, but
They're not what anybody would call sudden or steep.
not enough to impact stuff. It's like, oh yeah, that's the hills, but like, I mean, it's not going to affect combat. It's not going to affect how you're building. So. And they did finally relent and just give us one of up here. Whoop-de-doo. Big surprise here. There's just like 100, 200, 300. Up here, just like 200 or so. Oh, 125. Oh. Whew. Debates about how many Swedes are in Finland. Most Swedish speakers that emigrated north went to the eastern side.
The East! The East!
This is not flatlands. Shit. I mean, that out there looks pretty fucking flat.
Yeah.
What he's standing on is a ridge. That's flat. If there's like a hill, that doesn't make it hills like terrain. If like this location, yeah.
I can understand the arguments of both
Mhm.
parties. I don't feel strongly enough.
Yeah. The modern Swedish Finnish. No, all the people sad about Finland. Everyone's sad that Finland basically just doesn't exist. Finland is 30 to 40% Swedish. Oh, it's worse than that. It's probably majority Swedish. The more I look at it, there's probably more Swedes in Finland than there are Finns.
Man, the Finns are really not happy.
The earliest concrete numbers that I know of are from 1610. 3 whole centuries of Swedish rule. 17.5% of Finland folks spoke Swedish. The current culture breakdown is completely unjustifiable. It will be tweaked. Yes, well, we'll see.
It can be justified by "fuck you, we're Swedish."
Hope.
I think it should be tweaked.
It will be tweaked. It will be twerked.
Yeah. Half the locations of 100. They grew rapidly depending on the highest limits. Why would you as the player waste your government doing that and it still would take 150 plus years? Yeah. Johan really wants to argue with you for some reason about this. Locations. Highest limit. Even if they grew rapidly. I don't think that Johan's correct here. I don't think he understands. Like he's in charge of this team, but I don't think, based on the information that we have, doesn't sound like that's what's going to happen. And it does not sound like you need to actively use your like if you're actively using your government, that'll increase it from like the base of like 10.
Yeah, from what I saw, it was done by buildings like the cathedral and everything was, or the, what was it called? The Muslim one.
Because you have like a base of 10 or so, just period. And then you assimilating to like whatever your in the region accepted culture is. I think, yeah, the largest appreciated culture, as they put it, that they'll assimilate towards. But yeah, again, as you're saying, Matt, for he does clearly he's not thinking like how Paradox players think, because I instantly, my instant thought when I saw those pop numbers in the culture, I'm like, oh, I'm just instantly putting, it's like, what, I've got 2 government dudes. I'll start them off culturally converting Finland, easy. That's instantly what I was thinking I would do. I just want to get that sorted out, so it's majority Swedish, and then I won't have to worry about it. And so much of it's majority Swedish already, you don't even need to. I don't think you need to touch it with your government at all. Not that I'm going to play Sweden much, likely. Yeah. Oh, the king viewed himself as the king of Norway, Sweden, and Skane. Huh.
Gain. Certainly a name.
Interesting. So Skane is a dominion of Sweden. It's a dominion of Sweden, and it does not have. I mean, it does not have its own ruler. That's interesting. Yeah, exactly. Match for if you because as soon as you make a location that you own majority your culture, you'll just have enough. I imagine, at least you'll just have enough passive conversion speed to stop any other culture from taking over or being a problem. So yeah, it's like I just work it enough that like any places like that are majority yours, and then
Hey gamers, I am gonna dip now. Getting
Alright.
called to do stuff with my dad, so.
That's all fine.
right.
Talk
Catch
to
you
you later.
later, Victor. Bye bye for now.
We'll probably wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
Alright. How much is left?
Well, that's that actually.
Oh. Alright, and yeah, I guess we're wrapping this up.
Unless there's the off chance of. Not really.
Yeah, not really.
Thoughts on siege duration. Thoughts on a strait. Thoughts about war and climate. Please don't prohibit immorality. Oh God.
Yeah, no, I don't want to read that. Jesus Christ, no.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ, no.
I want to
It's gonna
see
be people-
though.
It's gonna be people like, please let me genocide people. Please let me oppress the women.
I want to see if there's any devs that responded to it though.
No, you can see if there are devs that responded to it by the fact that there's no symbol next to it. Look at the... No. If you look at Italy feedback, to the left of
Feedback.
replies, you'll see a little wrench.
Oh. Contains development.
tells you
plus-
that a
oh,
dev-
okay. Well, never
Yeah.
mind then. Yeah, I got nothing to. I don't care about that. Basically, only stuff that has dev responses or anything of interest to me. So. The Brazilian area names. The Brazilians are out in force. They're upset about the impassable, and now they're upset about the area names. Let's go! I love to see people
Aw,
being
yeah.
passionate about this shit. It's fun. Brainstorming institutions is cool. I'll open it, but I'm not going to look at that on stream. I'll check that out later. Alright. Huh. Well, Matchford, it's nice to get to to meet you a little bit on the stream, but Dark and I are going to be heading out here, so thank you and everyone else who watched this and watches the VOD for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!